and then make sure y'all have sound. And now we are live for the
Someone else is
people.
gonna have to mod the stream because I'm signed up.
Welcome. Hello. It's been a minute.
Hello, chat.
Hello.
Some of us did life things in the change.
The change.
Some of us have new jobs. Some of us don't. Some of us did other things. Anyway, we're back. Welcome. And oh look, there was a wave from Kyle. The camera.
Oh, bye.
Goodbye, Lori. Let me do it for you. Okay. Anyway, so we pick up after a little bit of a break. Bragan has graciously asked that somebody else do the recap. So I'll let somebody else attempt, and then I'll fill in details. Somebody go for it. Who wants to try?
Let me open up my notes. Because I am not at home, believe it or not.
What?
To find all my stuff.
Technically, you kind of are home, but like,
This is my father's house.
okay.
It's okay, Kyle. I get what you're saying.
Okay, my first note from last session is that Shiokaze blew up Seraph with Fireball. Woes.
Oh, my bad.
It happened. I do remember that.
And then that they are resistant to slashing, fire, lightning, or no, immune to lightning,
Your whole note is all the resistances.
resistant to thunder, resistant to necrotic, and vulnerable to radiant. But you know, we got it in the end. For the most part, last session was combat, so there isn't like a whole lot to explain. I know Lorik forcefully revived Ava and Carissa, and I keep wanting to say Balthazar, but that's not correct. Diaphanous died, but was revived afterwards, thankfully. And
good to have a paladin on board.
and then I passed out on somebody's grave.
True. In addition to that, there's a couple of things that were mechanics in the fight. We want to just like talk about those real quick before we jump in. There was a mechanic in the fight that had to do with your new item that you're holding, the rings. There was these gemstones that kept dropping from some of the monsters as you destroy them. And there was a pseudo mechanic in the fight where if you had equipped all of them over the course of the fight would have ended. And that would have been the win condition, basically activating this new item. Those items are still on the map. There's still 3 of them that you have to activate by picking them up, and then the other one is still in your inventory, just hasn't been put in yet. So you technically have to do 4 of these. Still. But these will activate the different rings on your hand, which is kind of nice. You passed out on a grave. Let's see. Carissa almost died. The giant Nevermore-style raven rock is mounted on this giant tree due to some crafty attacking and damage. Bird eventually met its end and piked itself, which it was attempting to do to players. Diaphanous was revived at the end of last session, thanks to some quick thinking by our paladin. And I do want to quickly remind people that mana burn is a thing. So just because you don't have a spell slot doesn't mean you can't cast a spell. It just is going to cost you some levels of exhaustion and maybe some damage, depending on the level and some other things. We can get more into the specifics of how that works when we get to a situation where you need to cast spells without spell slots. But yeah, the other thing that we should note is that the Lord Thorn Blackwatch is dead, full dead. I think he's a smoldering char of a person at this point, from what I remember. He got hit by a couple of flame spells and some fireballs, and lightning bolts. He's done. Just so everybody's aware.
Dead.
Just don't. Oh, I want his ring.
Sorry. You're good. But yeah, so You guys did really well in the fight against all the creatures. It was a tough fight on paper, and even more so in reality. The stranger did his best to serve and help specific people during the fight, to not go out of his way to help everyone. Not his job. Speaking of which, we now rejoin our party in the depths of the place that has been revealed to be the Abyss. This is a recreated scene, according to some of the information we received via some of our players. This is not like a one-for-one kind of like real situation. This is a copy of a thing that is somewhere in the world, or etc., etc. But we are in the Abyss, we know that for sure. And there's voices on the wind, if you can listen to them. Apparently some people were able to gain some advice from the wind withering and blowing by. We join our heroes. We are going to revisit the very final moments of the session that we had last time, just to kind of re-emphasize the things that are going on. So we're very quickly going to jump back. Lorik, you pass out on top of what looks to be a grave of some kind. There is parts of armor, what looks to be like a I'm trying to think of the term. A lance is the term that I was looking for. That's partially sticking out of the ground. And there is remnants of what looks to be like very well-kept armor, just kind of slowly being piled on top of by the ground. And then perhaps the remains of a person underneath, unsure, partially turned to stone. In addition, there is a group of people kind of around. Ava is hunched over the top of Diaphanous, asking very nicely, well, maybe not, for Carissa to bring it back. Carissa wanders over, says some sort of prayer to themselves, pulls a bead from a rosary, places it on Diaphanous, who is then revitalized. Diaphanous, what is the last thing you think about in this moment of limbo before you are suddenly brought back to this group here at the edge of where souls come to rest in some lives?
Ooh. The last thing I think about, I think it's that, I think when he enters like this void, like it's very much like a, I'll be back kind of like feel. Like, I mean, he's been there so many times, that I think there's a part of him that's like, just like kind of just waiting. And then slowly he starts to doubt himself before feeling that familiar tug and being pulled back.
You are given a small tug back to life. Very quickly, give me 1 second. I need to look up one thing. Sorry. It's not very fun when I have to look stuff up, but this is important.
It's my favorite part.
True. Diaphanous, there is two figures you see as you think about death, and as you think about this place that exists just beyond the veil. One of the figures is a tiefling woman who is kneeling at the altar of a destroyed shrine. The building is decrepit, it's collapsing on itself, and she looks to be like praying in some sort of way. And if you stare long enough, you'll see her begin to clean. She begins to like wipe and remove stuff from the stone. The other person you see is a towering figure, another woman, but a Goliath, and she's holding what looks to be a giant set of scales in one hand and a sword in the other. The sword is long, dark. The blade is almost made of like a black kind of steel. It blends in with the shadow. The only thing you can catch is the faint edge of the blade with light that reflects off of it as it moves. And you would know that the sword is sharp enough to sunder someone's shadow from them in a moment. Like it's able to trim like unworldly kind of things from people. But these are the two figures you see as you wake up.
Did the tiefling look familiar?
They both look familiar to you.
I thought they might. I wake up.
You were dead for like what? Couple of rounds? 18, 20 seconds, something like that? Long enough for your heart to stop. And then you gasp for air as you wake up, and all of these like things that turned off seemingly probably forever turn back on. Now, as you awake, you feel something missing. Would you like to describe to everyone what it looks like as you discover the ramifications of this death?
So, Daphnis kind of like gets up and kind of like pushes Eva like off of him. And he kind of like starts to kind of like pat himself down, like, okay, got that. And slowly he like looks, like realizes his right arm isn't working properly. And he looks down and it has started to like wither and like crumple into dust. Cuts off right about the elbow. I kind of needed that. Is someone gonna help me up, or are we all just gonna?
What you? She reaches out for you. What? Your arm.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
This is short, fucking little girl picking you up, helping you. Like, oh, what? Huh?
Does anyone have any healing left? Because we still do have a party member down.
Yes, I have some healing. Is this above board or?
No, I'm saying Lorik is still down.
No, Lorik's just asleep. He didn't.
Eepin.
Oh, is he? I thought like he was like knocked out.
I'm unconscious.
Are you actually unconscious?
Not due to lack of HP, just exhaustion.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was... Okay.
Okay.
Yes, to clarify, Lorik is not down in the terms of the game. Lorik is laying down after a hard fight. So... yeah. Shiokaze, what are you doing?
I think Shiokaze is definitely just kind of... They were coming back over, and then they just see, Lorik plop, and then, Diaphanous coming back, Eva getting pushed off, Carissa, praying, and they're just like, what the heck? But, just kind of like, okay. Just kind of looking over everybody and seeing if anybody's hurt. I'm definitely probably gonna check out Lorik, just because he is passed out for some reason. So just gonna take off my cloak, kind of fold it up, and then put it under his head, and then just kind of like examine him. Can I examine?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I
Like
mean, I'm assuming
Arcana wise.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Because I want to see like if this was due to magic or like his magic, that he does. Or I did not mean to. Oh, okay, that's good.
No worries. Do you want to keep it or do you want to roll real dice?
No, it's good. I thought it almost pulled to advantage, and I was like, shit, but it didn't. So it's actually good.
No worries. Okay, so you're doing an Arcana check.
Mhm.
You want to see his connection to this place is what you're looking for, almost exactly.
That, but then like, cause whenever we finished the fight, didn't he just like pop, or not pop, but like pass out because he recognized something or something?
So you look over at him. He's extremely pale. You notice lots of self-inflicted wounds. And the other thing that you know is that he walked over and Carissa, like you hadn't seen Carissa for a minute. He walked over, Carissa was able to get up and move around, and Lorik basically collapsed to the ground in a state of exhaustion. Lorik is extremely pale, and he looks almost like withered in a sort of way. A lot of his like muscle, like skeleton, like like he's
Suck
not
dry.
Yeah, he looks really like thin, if that makes sense. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe
Gaunt?
it. Yes, gaunt would be a great description. He's like keeled over almost from a sense of like almost needing to, if that makes sense, instead of a sense of like magic or something in this place. So it's a very biological thing that's going on with him. Magic-wise, yeah, he's innately tied to this place in some sort of nature of fact. I mean, it's with a 22, it's obvious. You do see that, like, with a 22 as well, I think you could pick up the fact that he is wearing that set of rings, but you can see that one of them has a jewel, and that it matches some of the jewels that you've seen around the battlefield. Like from these creatures that dropped. The other thing you'll notice as well is sitting on the ground, it's actually stuck to a part of the tree. There is actually not something that belongs to Lorik, but something that belongs to Diaphanous. It's a sheet of paper, and it's fluttering as if it's been trapped by as this bird was slain, some of its feathers fell off and like skewered the ground, and one of these pieces of paper got stuck under one of those like feathers, and you can see it's trying to like wither its way over to Diaphanous. It's trying to pull in that direction, but you see that it's stuck, like pinned, as if you stuck something through like a sticky note or something like that.
So I'll probably look at the little paper and just pull out the feather so that it can go to Diaphanous. And then can I continuously healing blue flame because it's a cantrip?
I told you that I would be editing this spell. So what I'm going to say is you can let people heal themselves, but they have to use hit dice to do so. So you can only cast it a number of times equal to the amount of hit dice somebody has access to. So, like, for example, Lorik has to use his hit dice to get his creatures and stuff back. And he used it to heal some people. So he might be tapped on hit dice. So using it on him would be ineffective. I don't know exactly how many hit dice Lorik has, so, if Lorik has a hit die or something available to him and would like to be healed, go ahead and go for it, but, all I'm gonna say is, it's not an infinite buff. Once you run out of hit die, that's it. That's all she wrote. You can use the text from the spell itself to give somebody whatever the hit points is that you get for the spell, but in exchange, it burns a hit die. Make sense? That is how I'm gonna nerf this. because that's insanely strong. And I'm not putting up with it.
Then I will probably healing hands. That does that also use hit die, or is that just straight up number?
That's your feature for being an asthma, right?
Yeah.
That is just healing that you have.
Okay.
It's kind of like a paladin ability. You just have a pool available to you that you can give to people.
Okay.
So keep in mind it's a numerical value, so you take away from it, and then it recharges when you get a long rest. So if you were to use some of it now, it would just be a cumulative amount. So if you give 5 to one person, you'd only have whatever amount left afterwards. So, cool.
Then I give all 9 to Lorik.
Okay. What does it look like as you use this feature of yours?
I'm gonna pull a Mr. Miyagi, just rubbing my hands together. Defibrillator kind of.
Okay.
I need to get the gift now. But just kind of like my hands are glowing like a soft gold, just when my hands touch his like chest or his shoulders or whatever, they kind of like it goes from my hands into his body and just kind of just like flows, glows, and then goes away. Just kind of like a transfer of energy, kind of.
Okay. Oh yeah, you begin to like almost. I don't want to say warm him up with this ability or whatever, but you begin to like illuminate him almost in a weird way, and start to give him these hit points. 2 things, Carissa. Are you currently awake?
Yes.
Okay. Without a doubt, there is something specific about what Shiokaze is doing right now that gives you a sense of this is a divinity thing. It's related to like a deity or something like that. This is not arcane magic. This is like divinity, divine magic. Make sense?
Gotcha.
So something you would just know. Lorik, as Shiokaze, as you begin to lay your hands over the top of him and this glow begins to radiate, it's like a golden color is what you said. You see that a violet kind of undercolor arises over the locations that you are placing your hands. And it kind of fuses together and creates this soft light purple color between the two, as if the light is diffusing into one. That is something that happens with Lorik specifically. Cool. We're gonna jump over to Ava. Ava, what are you doing? Just helping with Diaphanous, or do you have other things in mind?
Well, I would like to also heal both of us now that we are.
Okay.
He's awake and I actually can heal him.
So yeah, if you got spell slots on hand or you got any sort of whatever, you can go for it.
So as he like just pushes me off and I'm helping him up while holding onto his hand, I will clasp my other hand over it and we'll cast just a minor cure wounds on himself, and then place my hand over myself and then we'll cure my own wounds.
Cool. Wow, isn't that weird? You begin to disseminate your healing magic here between the two of you. Diaphanous, as this is happening, that piece of paper I mentioned earlier flutters back over to you and lands near you, like on the ground, as if it's waiting for you to pick it up.
I reach my hand out and pick it up. I fold it up and I put it in my pocket.
you have received your Afuda and returned to you. Anybody who watched this fight earlier would know that this is the Afuda that had his was it a gargoyle?
It was a gargoyle. Yeah.
This is the Afuda that had that gargoyle. It seems to have returned from wherever he threw it originally to send out this creature. You guys are all kind of hanging around. Carissa, what are you doing right
I think she just kind of sits there as she brings Daphnis back, and she just kind of sees him pat himself down, realize his arm is like withering and gone. She feels a strange mix of like relief and guilt because he's alive, but at what cost, kind of thing. Like she feels like she might have had something to do with him losing part of his arm. And I think she just kind of sits there for a second and kind of watches everybody else and just kind of takes everything in and just kind of tries to recenter herself to kind of figure out what to do next.
Can I roll an insight check on Carissa?
Sure, if you'd like.
And what I'm
Carissa,
trying to...
Yeah, go ahead.
No, go ahead. You were saying something.
I was just going to say, Carissa, you can give me, if you want to obscure whatever you, like, he's going to ask probably if he can figure out how you're feeling or something like that, is what I'm assuming. Yeah, Max, go ahead.
I specifically want to know if Carissa's ever, like, died before or, like, seen someone who died before.
So, Carissa, if you don't want to hide this, then you can just opt not to give a DC. If you would like to hide this in some way, go ahead and just give me, we'll do either a performance check or like a deception check. And which one you choose, you don't have to tell anybody what it is, just tell me. But which one you choose will opt to the nature of how he learns the information. So like if you choose deception, that implies that you are actively hiding this secret. And if you choose performance, you are trying to put on a brave face. So like maybe it's not something you actively want to keep a secret, but it's something you don't necessarily want everyone to.
Yeah. Honestly, Chris has gone down in this fight. She's at 1 HP. She just brought someone back to life. I don't think she has the energy to hide what she's feeling. So it'll just be uncontested. No DC.
No DC. So what does Diaphanous learn? What does Diaphanous learn? He looks over at you to see whether or not, as he said, his intention is to figure out whether or not you have seen death, been near death, or died yourself before. So what kinds of things are going on with you, like physically, as well as maybe like emotionally reading on your face, that would distinguish this information? What do you think he learns?
I think... Ooh, let's see. I think in this moment he would kind of see like her shoulder, like her whole body just goes from really, really tense as she is really tense, and then she just looks around and it's like she's counting everyone, and she just looks between everyone over and over and over. And as she realizes everyone's alive and relatively safe, her shoulder, like she just sags, but not in like relief, just like in a heaviness. It's almost like there's weight just came back down onto her shoulders. And if you look at her face, you can see her eyes are really distant. She almost looks like haunted. As her eyes just kind of dart between everybody, and then they just kind of fix on a point, nowhere in particular. And she just kind of, you can see different emotions of like relief and then fear and then grief come across her face. And in her mind, I think she's just flipping through what happened and how close everyone came to, dying or being seriously injured. And then just thinking back to all like the close encounters that she's had with other people she cares about.
Carissa, as you're sitting here, the other thing I'll add is you nonchalantly reach to your sword and place a hand on it. And then you grab your holy symbol and you begin wiping your holy symbol memory. And in that moment, as you are trying to maintain focus and keep yourself grounded here, a quick flash back to just a couple months ago, in a place similar to this. In front of you, you see a woman light herself on fire. Begging you to stay away from her. A woman who you trusted does this to you. And it's like you're living that moment again. This is the face that Diaphanous learns there is some serious death in your past. How do you react when you experience this vision? Do you try to stand up and like walk away, or like, what is the trauma response?
I think she just freezes and she squeezes her eyes shut, like she's trying to just not see it. And I think she just kind of almost curls into herself a little bit, like she's clutching her holy symbol, and she just kind of curls her shoulders inward and like bows her head, like she's trying to shut out the memory, and she's just like gripping her holy symbol with like white knuckles.
Can you take 3 slashing damage from me as well? As from this, not only are you gripping the holy symbol and it begins to cut your hand, the blade as well. From where you almost like subconsciously grabbed and cut yourself.
I go back down.
No.
3 damage? Damn.
Yeah, I'm only at 1.
Oh. Okay.
I mean, I could just like pass out. That's cool.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna go with. Is basically like you cut yourself, you begin to look at your hands, and then you pass out. But we're not gonna make you roll death saves or anything crazy like that.
Okay.
This is purely from like a fugue state of exhaustion.
Yeah.
And
I'm fine with that.
Cool. So yeah, you are not like dying or actively in the dying mode here, but
just overwhelmed and like passed out unconscious.
Exactly.
So I actually have something for this. So Diaphanous is going to reach out, and as you're kind of like staring at your hand, Diaphanous like reaches out with like his left hand and like kind of like grabs your face and like kind of like pulls a hair out of like in front of your face, like as you're kind of like beginning to like go, and he's gonna say, everything's gonna be all right. We're all still standing, and I'm gonna use one of my Afuda to keep you from taking damage. So I kind of like pull the strand out of your face, and one of these little I'll say it kind of looks like a little like paper crane kind of like flutters over and like goes into your hand, and it's like sitting on your hand where the slash is. And it kind of looks like it's like absorbing the slash, like it just kind of like disappears.
Aww. Okay.
So he's like focusing on you, like eyes like directly into your eyes, kind of like it almost feels like he's like absorbing your pain.
Mm-hmm. I think when that happens, I think with that'll kind of pull her out of that memory and reliving those emotions in that memory and seeing it. And I think she just blinks a few times, and then just kind of like, I think she kind of looks down, like she's looking at you, and then her eyes focus on you, and then she looks down and she just kind of nods her head and just kind of continues sitting there.
Focus on what we need to get done today, Carissa. We can't worry about what's happened in the past, but we can worry about what's going on now. Now let's get our party together and get the hell out of here.
She doesn't say anything. She'll just kind of take a deep breath and stand up and kind of survey what everyone's doing now.
Lorik sits up and immediately says, "Oh, fuck. I'm not doing that again. And you sort of see the ground beneath him almost let go of him as he sort of picks himself up, pulling away from the dirt. I immediately check my pockets and look for the remainder of the gems.
As you begin to maybe look for the other gems, you check your pockets. You still have the one that you haven't placed yet. The other thing I want you to describe for me is the grave you're laying on. I gave a brief description of it earlier, but I'd like you to have the opportunity to add some details. Give me a texture that you found laying on this. Give me a specific item that you can grab, if you'd like. And give me a object or something that seems to be rooted in the ground in such a way that it won't be.
Sure. Well, I think the first thing Lorik feels upon this healing magic he's received is his cheek just pressed against hard metal covered in sort of a thin layer of dirt. As he sort of picks his cheek up, it's cold from just a heat sort of transferring down into the earth and through this metal. Just from where he's picked up the dirt here, you can see the white shining metal of the armor sort of hidden beneath the dirt here. Sort of pulling myself up, just supporting myself with one arm, specifically the arm that I have not cut. I sort of lean back against my elbows, and gosh, let's say, what do I find? A few extremely old, probably hard to tell at first, but Lorik, with his background, recognizes them as extremely old pieces of currency that no longer hold any value. As he goes to pick them up, they sort of crumble as the rust and tarnish falls off the skin here of these coins. A faint metal glints underneath that quickly turns dark that his fingers touch. And lodged in the dirt, just sort of underneath where he's supporting his arm, passing in between his leg and his arm here, it's just the sort of rounded shell of a massive lance, probably 8 feet tall, that is embedded deep within the dirt, probably under several feet of dirt at this point. As I sort of just look down towards, well, not a grave, just the resting place of someone who tried their best.
As you stand up and you begin to examine the ground, you hear behind you the stranger, without trying to startle you or anything, just whispers in your direction. I have collected the other gems. And you see he's holding them in his hand out towards you.
I sort of slowly stand, and I put my arm on Ilagasa's shoulder to grab myself some leverage as I stand up here and sort of limp my way towards the stranger here, and I will take them from his hand, give him a quick nod of thanks, and I will look back to the rest of the group. Well, investigate what we can. Let me know when we would like to leave.
Preferably now.
Can I healing blue flame Carissa, please?
Yeah.
If she has any hit dice. Do you have any hit dice, actually?
I do, but I can, let me see. I think I still have some of my, lay on hands pool that I can use.
You might want to save that. This is a cantrip. Just say it.
That's fair. Okay, I'll do that then. Yes. Healing DC, please.
Okay. I'm going to kind of I guess, are you sitting, standing, slumped over?
Chris is now standing.
Okay. Not or now.
Is
Okay.
currently standing.
Okay. So Ilokos is gonna kind of like walk over. They're gonna pick up their cloak, put it back on, and then they're going to come up to you, and they're gonna rub their hands together, and then they're gonna pull them apart. And whenever they pull them apart, there's just gonna be like blue flames in between, and they kind of give like a "you want" face.
Chris just looks at him and nods.
Okay. So then they're just going to place their hands on your like I guess your collarbones, just like right above your chest, and just transfer the flame over. It's gonna feel warm, not like too hot, but it's gonna feel like as if you were taking like a warm bath, like the perfect temperature, just like yes, and it's just gonna flow over you. And then here's the dinghy. So you can read what it
thank
be.
you.
So this will cost you one of your hit die, but you can take the healing effect if you'd like.
Okay.
Cool.
Sounds good.
All right. Those of you begin to look around. Is there any other things we want to learn about this place? I know that Diaphanous has expressed his want to leave.
Ilokos, they kind of explored earlier.
Mhm.
Sorry, ouch. So they're fine with. I know that because we're all mind linked still. So I guess whatever I figured out, they also know. Because Ilokos will be relaying that information. Go ahead, Kyle.
I was going to say Lork wants the ring.
Oh, I was about to go over to Blackwatch. We're like,
Alright.
I want to go get it.
Lork will inspect the rock then.
Okay.
The big old bird.
So you heal Carissa,
Mhm.
and then you're gonna walk over to the charred husk of
Mm-hmm.
this man. As you bend down, you can see the ring is miraculously like one of the things that is uninjured by this series of spellcraft and things that have affected him. His skin is charred. He smells burnt. Like it's the only thing I can think of to give you a description. Smells like meat that sat on a grill for too long.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see that his skin is black from where he was basically laid in flame for several rounds of combat. Gave him plenty of time to catch on fire. He has his fingers have started to like almost collapse. Some of them have broken, some of them haven't. The parts underneath the ring on his body are completely unaffected. They look as if he is just fine. In that specific area. So like the two little ringlets on his middle and his like wedding ring finger, I guess is how you would describe it. But it's like a dual set of rings that go on that one section. And the bridge between. It almost looks like a sling ring from like MCU.
Mm-hmm.
And you pull it off and put it in your pocket. You can add a ring of spell storage to your inventory.
Equipment. What was it called?
A ring of spellstorm.
Ring of spell storm.
Storing.
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 Storming.
Sorry. Uh.
If you have trouble, we can figure it out. But, is anybody else doing anything while we interact with this dude over here off to the right? I'm assuming Lorik is attuning the gems to the.
Oh, did you not hear me say I was looking at the bird?
Oh, you're gonna look at the bird. Sure. Yeah. What do you want to? What type of information do you want to?
Oh, I just want a trophy.
Oh, okay. What type of trophy would you like from the bird? There are plenty of things to pick from.
If you haven't picked up on it yet, I would like to make a dagger out of every important monster I kill. So I would like to investigate the bird and see whether talons or beak or maybe one of their razor sharp feathers would be best to make a dagger out of.
Okay, cool. Go ahead and just give me that investigation check.
W.
Even with an 8, the stuff that you mentioned sticks out to you for sure. If you'd rolled higher, it might have given you some other options. But any of those options that you want from what you listed, you can. So,
Right.
Just pick whichever.
Frustrated with not seemingly seeing a clear option, I would like to take one of all three.
Okay. As you begin plucking away at this bird and harvesting parts, you see that the stranger walks over, and you can see that this bird is huge. So it's on top of the tree, and it looks like it's almost like resumed the plumage of the tree, if that makes sense. Like the tree was sparse and no leaves, and now is like got a bird in it that almost looks like foliage. At this point, you see that the stranger walks over to an area near the base of the tree, and he picks up a couple of smaller feathers that have fallen to the ground. And you see he opens his cloak to the side, and if anybody's watching, you would see that within the confines of his cloak, even as he opens it to place in, it's still like pitch black shadow. You cannot see his clothing. He opens his cloak. You see a couple of these feathers. He picks them up and slides them in to the shadow inside the cloak, and then he closes his cloak and stands there waiting.
Orc is jealous.
If you look over at him, he'll go, "It's good for the goose," as he stands there, and is kind of like pushing stuff into his cloak. You see that he will make eye contact with other people, but he will not make eye contact.
Say that again.
He will make eye contact with other people, like if they come by and ask him questions or whatever. You'll see that he engages them directly and looks them in the eye and talks to them. When he talks to you, he's always sort of bowing.
Gotcha.
Oh,
Chris said they had to make
Lost
the wall.
No worries.
I like that sketch.
thanks.
Cool. So you collect your trophies. Shiokaze, you grab your ring. Anybody else have anything else they want to do while they're here? Ava, do you have anything you want to do while you're here?
Can I see why Diaphanous is withering from his arm? If he allows me.
Yeah, if he lets you, you can totally examine it if you want. And if he gives you the option to look at it without like you having to try and like look at it very briefly, no check necessary. I'll give you the answer. So like, if he goes, yeah, it's fine, and you look at it, I'll just give you what the answer would be. If you don't get his confirmation that that's possible, then you can roll some sort of like Arcana check or something. You can figure out an answer based on that information.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, I'll let you look at it.
Ava, you spend. What we'll say is this is what's happening while everything else that we've discussed so far has happened. Ava, you begin looking at his arm, and how do you examine it? He gives you the rein to look at it. What do you do? Do you take out measurement tools? Are you just looking at it, or like what types of things are you doing to learn this information?
Well, I'm gonna go back to how my mother would heal other people as well. That would come in with with a series of ailments, and I think back to how she would examine people, as in actually, if he would allow me to touch on it, and to use my magical capabilities to see if it's something more of a curse or something that is magically in tune to himself.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead, Max.
I will like grab your hands in my hand. And I'll say, it's not that kind of wound, dear. When you
Ava,
go, oh,
yeah, go ahead.
when someone brings you back, there's a price to be paid. And I've been brought back many times.
Ava, with certainty, every word he just said is true. Like, you understand this is a like magical contract almost. This is not something that is a curse or something placed on him. This is just a byproduct of being brought back from the dead. There are laws that govern how often or if people are allowed to come back at all. And something that you would know, it used to be like a children's tale that your mother used to mention to you every now and then, but it was kind of like, yeah, the god of death is fickle with what he chooses. He doesn't often like to return servants to this world, and something about that sticks to you in a way that's like, huh, I thought she was just kind of lying, or like saying something that was kind of just to scare me into like not doing something dangerous as a child, in case I might die. She can't bring me back or whatever. You realize what she was telling you is like, it's a version of magical law. He can't let everyone just come back, so sometimes he has to exact a price, and it manifests itself in the way of a scar. For those of you at home, this is a mechanic in this game. If you are killed 3 times, no matter what, you are full dead. You get 3 scars. They manifest however you choose. At the time of your death, we discuss it. And we talk about what you want, or like what you think would be cool. They also come with the benefit of allowing you to re-roll some of your stats. You can take some stat points from one location, move them to another part of your character sheet in exchange. Death is a life-altering event, and scars should be respected. So, yeah, Diaphanous is completely right. This is just an effect of death. It looks like there is some maybe like witches kind of magic brewing in this location. But it looks like it's almost as if they were ushering in the will of something else greater than themselves. Not in the sense that they were the people who initiated this content. Also, welcome back, Chris.
Thanks. Sorry about that.
Yeah, no worries. Cool. Does that answer your question, Ava?
It does. And then I will look at Diaphanous as I'm listening in, and will ask him, How many times have you been brought back?
Roll a perception check.
Oh. Am I good at those? I'm okay. I'm great at those. Hopefully. I'm not great at those. An 11.
Matt,
What is going on in
Wait,
the
what's
lab?
my passive perception? Pretty sure my passive is more. Yeah, my passive's an 18, but I rolled an 11.
Yeah, I would say because you're actively looking, this is an active check, right? Passive is more of like, if I don't necessarily want to alert you to something happening, I do have to roll stealth checks and stuff for things,
Yes.
and then see how it goes. Though that's when I get fucked by your passive. But passive isn't really helpful in a lot of other cases.
Absolutely. Yeah,
This is an active check, so
yeah, actively. Not very perceptive.
definite. Yeah. What did you have to say? You had something, Red?
well, I was gonna ask what your ruling was on that. I would say you see more than 3 scars on Diaphanous. Some of them are more noticeable than others. Like if you look really, really closely, one of his eyes is the wrong shade of green. You notice that his it's very unusual for a furbolg to have horns like he does. Almost as if bits and pieces of him have been taken from other people.
Okay. Do you say anything?
Do I say anything?
Yeah, do you say anything to me? I asked you a question.
Oh, what was your question? I'm sorry.
Ava asked you, how many times have you been brought back?
He's looking down at you and goes, That's an awkward question, Ava. Enough times to no longer worry about it." And he gives you like a little pat on the shoulder, and he's looking at the tree.
That's very cryptid.
He looks down at you with a smile on his face, like an exhausted smile, like when you're talking to a child.
Lorik, after you collect your items, are you going to spend time to put the jewels in your rings?
It is the plan, yes.
After you place each one of these gems here, it takes a moment. But once you do so, there is almost a feeling of like transference in this place. Not in the sense that like it belongs to you, but that there is some form of command you could take over this place. Just by wielding this item. If you were to wave your hand, the ground might begin to part. Or if you were to point at the tree, it might light itself on fire. Who knows what would be possible wearing this item. But as you place this, there is a cognitive understanding that by wearing this item in this place, you are in sort of control. Maybe not everything will listen to you, but most things will.
Yes. I tell no one. I will begin with the ring on my thumb, and as I get about halfway through, recognizing this feeling, I will point to a hollow in the tree and call Seraph forth.
As you call Seraph forth, you look at this hollow opening in the tree, and for a moment, just eyes peer out. Which is strange, because Seraph doesn't usually have eyes. eyes that are bright yellow in nature. Maybe even gold, if it was given that description. The pupil itself, the slit, if you will, the cat's eye, is a strong violet color. And then, as the shadow slinks out of the tree, the eyes disappear, and your familiar manifests itself, walking out of the shadow.
I pick up and hold Seraph in my arms, patting them gently. Sort of, though I don't say it out loud, apologizing for their passing.
He does noodle cat things. He dangles.
I pick him up after a minute of petting, set him around my shoulders like a scarf, and I will continue to tune into my rings until the rest of the people are ready.
Cool. As Shiokaze comes back, I believe we are good. Everybody's ready to go, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
No,
Lurk
I think I like
around.
it here.
No, I want out.
Mhm.
I want to leave. I
Or-
want to go. I'm done.
You,
I want to go.
you look
I-
around and you begin to see that everyone seemingly is satisfied. This place served its purpose.
Right. Looking across the battered party of mine here, I just sort of make the conclusion as my eyes drift toward the burnt corpse at the far corner of the battlefield. Be prepared for some hostilities on our return. We did just kill their king, after all, or their lord. So, be ready to skedaddle.
I put my arm around. Well, who? Ava, how tall are you?
Not tall.
Not tall.
You are. You and Ava could not be farther apart, I think.
I am 4'10".
Carissa, come here, come here, come here.
Yeah,
I put my arm.
You're literally probably using me as a stepping stone. Like you probably put your hand
Yeah.
on my shoulder and then my head to like lift
Yeah,
yourself
you're
up
really
fully.
more of an ottoman.
Yes.
I put my arm around Carissa, and I'm just like, okay, you're gonna have to carry me a little bit. lean into each other. Lean into each other.
Yeah, we're good. We'll get there.
Right. You guys lean into each other. Lorik, what does it look like as you dismiss this place?
I sort of look across the party, seeing these nods of understanding. I look back toward the graves that litter this place, and sort of reach my hands out, looking at my palms for a second, recognizing the strength, and sort of reaching through the instinctual thoughts that now run through my mind. And I sort of clasp my fingers together. You guys all watch as I sort of put my fingers together, folding them together. Put my hand outwards with my palms facing away from me as I rip towards the nothingness of space as color returns before you all, as I sort of rip my way through the weave back toward our home.
In a moment, Lorik dismisses this place as if he's told it to leave. And so it does. And you all are once again in the halls of Blackwatch Keep.
Is there anyone else around?
At the moment, it's just you and your party.
All right. there's-
Sorry. I have
No,
a
no,
question.
Shiokaze, go ahead.
Did the king also go with us?
The Lord's
he's-
body is laying near the throne in his chamber.
Oh no.
Chard and king.
Ooh.
Awkward.
All right. So the way I see this is we can run this two ways. We can either call for alarm, or we can try and sneak out.
As you begin to mention this, you hear the sound of plate from people running within the castle.
We've got to make a decision instantly. Okay, go.
I sort of look towards everybody. Here, you take this. I sort of, as I reach towards my fingers with the rings on them, I grasp the ring, and as I pull away, the ring stays in its place, and a small shadowed ring comes loose from my finger, and I hand a ring to everybody.
All right.
Holding in hand.
I have put on the ring.
I've also
right.
put on a ring.
Yeah. I'll put mine on as well.
Now, let me double check and figure out who I want to give what, or which ring I want to give to each person.
Yep. There is a specific thing he has to do for each one. So, while he does that, you guys will get a second to formulate a plan. But essentially, you guys hear the sound of like people in heavy plate mail running around in this castle. There are shouts. You see that as this is starting to happen, the page that delivered you to this place and went to retrieve the items from the vault has re-entered the room and is walking up towards the throne where the Lord's body is laying on the ground. And that is where we're going to resume once he finishes picking out who gets what. But that is what's happening in this moment.
Now I do have an alibi, so if we're not able to get everybody out, I should probably be the one to stay behind.
Why?
Because I have a way to get out.
Okay.
Oh, I should also mention it's not just him on the dais. The 4 dead guards as well.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, the ones that were charred to the inner side of their armor because they were hit by lightning. Yeah, those guys are also laying on the floor over there next to him. You guys have appeared, so you guys all disappeared from the same place, which was up there with them. When you guys reappear, however, it looks like you guys have appeared a little bit farther away from that location. Not like all the way across the room or anything. You guys are kind of in the middle of this throne room.
Nice.
Perfect. It looks like everybody got a specific ring. Do you want to explain to each person what they get?
No, I want them to keep it personal for the time being, as long as they want to. Just go to your equipment and hit add, and then you can type in index, little, middle, or ring. The ring probably is going to be a little bit difficult for you, Diaphanous. For you, Diaphanous, you can look up subterfuge.
Equipment. Add item.
What?
Middle?
Oh.
Is it ring of subterfuge or is it just called subterfuge?
It is subterfuge parentheses ring parentheses.
Okay. I don't have. I don't see that.
So if you hit add item and then you type in the search bar middle, you don't see it.
Mm-mm.
Let me see. I'm gonna play Shiokaze for a second.
Everybody should be able to see it.
Got it. Never mind.
Never mind.
Sorry.
Oh.
For those of you at home, the game master can just play everybody. So if I really wanted to, I could jump into everybody's character sheet and grab stuff and do whatever. I don't do that because that's invasion of their privacy. But I could do it.
So for everybody who's received a ring, make sure you read the details and equip the item.
Cool. So yeah, each of you receive a ring. You guys, I'm gonna put 60 seconds on the clock once again. We're gonna do this probably anytime we have to make quick decisions.
Mhm.
So when I say go, you guys will have 60 seconds to determine your game plan, which will give me just enough time to run to the fridge and grab another Coke Zero.
Sponsored.
No, sorry, wait. A random Coke product that doesn't. Yeah, okay, whatever.
Random soda product.
I'll have to grab blue tape and cover the giant ass label. All right. 3, 2, 1, go.
All right, what game plan? What the fuck are we doing? They're gonna think we
What's
killed
the
Derek.
plan?
Lork hides.
I'm about to create an illusion to hide all like the bodies and us. I don't know.
We're not gonna hide the bodies. They know the king is dead, or
Uh,
they know the king
The
is here.
Lord, yeah.
I think
So
I come clean, tell them what happened. I am a member of the city guard, so technically,
I think it's best for Lork to not be here.
I think that's a good idea. I think
Yeah,
Lord
yeah.
not be here. Everybody else go invisible or hide or do something.
okay, I'm definitely.
I
gonna
don't
be
think I can do
invisible.
that.
Wait. Do I have open slot? Then I might. Yeah, I have. I have a few open slots. I can make 3 of us invisible.
Oh.
Are
Ooh.
you sorry? Are you casting invisibility 3 times? Is that what you're planning on doing? Okay, I'll give you 20 seconds back because I did intervene.
Yes.
Give me.
I
So
am-
your plan is to cast invisibility 3 times, right? Is that
Great.
what
Yes.
you're asking?
Great. Yes. Greater
Okay.
invisibility.
And can you?
Greater invisibility. Okay, great. Yeah, I was gonna say because invisibility is a concentration spell, but greater visibility totally works. Yeah, fuck it. I don't care. Yeah, if you want to do that and you can burn those spell slots, that's fine for me.
Okay. I do have to do like a mana burn because I only have 2 open spell slots for sure. And then, can I do that?
Okay. Yeah, we can mana burn.
Yay!
So greater. Let me just check to see what greater is.
How many
I
forms of
think-
exhaustions I have? I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I might be okay to not hide as well.
Okay, so I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna put 20 more seconds on the clock. You guys all need to determine who's getting invisibility, who's hiding, and who's gonna be alive. Your 3, 2, 1, go.
I am not hiding.
Lork is hiding.
Shiokaze, how good are you at deception? Just say if you're good or
+3?
bad at it.
Good.
Good. Okay, we're good then.
Okay, me and Carissa, you want?
5 seconds.
Yes.
Okay.
Please hide me. My stealth is awful.
Greater visibility on both
My
me and
performance
Carissa.
is even better.
I am
Okay.
touching her and myself, and we will become invisible because anything that we are wearing and carrying is invisible as long as it's on the target's person. Go.
Shiokaze, cry.
Oh, so it's a performance. Okay.
Cry. You have to
Okay.
cry. I pick up the charred remains of the king, and I am.
Okay, so just to confirm, Lorik is hiding. Ava is turning Carissa invisible, and Ava is also turning invisible.
Yes.
And Shiokaze and Diaphanous are going to attempt to sell this to them when they come in here. This situation. Is that correct?
Yes.
Oh, and also I'm immediately
Okay.
taken to the sky. I'm flying. I do not want to be touched.
Okay, so just so you're aware, by the way,
Oh,
Ava,
gosh, yes.
greater invisibility. This is just for future reference. I'm going
Yeah.
to allow it just because you're going to burn the 2 spell slots anyway, so it doesn't matter.
Nice.
Holy shit! Lorik vanishes.
I'm
He's
gone.
just gone.
He was
Guys,
there,
damn
but
it.
he's
Look,
gone.
guys.
Wasn't
You
there
guys
another
screw
member of
out,
our
and
party?
it's like Batman. He's just gone.
I say, I think it's best if I'm not here, and then I just disappear.
Just disappears.
Even the memory of him is gone.
Where's Rachel? Anyway.
Yes.
Concentration.
Yes.
So you'd only technically be able to cast this once on one person, and you'd have to concentrate on it. You don't have the ability to concentrate on multiple spells at once. For this purpose, we're able to do that. You do have 2 4th level spells, right?
Yes.
To cast this spell twice.
Yes.
Okay. So burn those slots. For this purpose, we will allow it. In the future, however, just keep that in mind. Concentration spells, you can only have one act.
Oh, yeah,
Sound good?
that's fair. Yeah, yes. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. Like I said, I think it's cool. I like the idea. For those of you at home, you can break the rules if you want to. Just always confirm with your DM. Anyway, anyway, so what is the story we're selling, Diaphanous, Shiokaze? We're gonna play this as it will actually happen because you guys probably would not have had time to talk this out. You guys do have telepathic bonds still up, so you could telepathically communicate to one another what you guys think you guys should say as the conversation goes on. But essentially, this page wanders up to the top of the dais and sees the two of you hanging out next to these two bodies. How would you like to be positioned?
I am like kneeling, like holding the corpse of the ruler. He's not a king, right? He's like a general or something.
He's a lord.
Yeah, he's the lord. And I'm just gonna be like weeping and just be like, an assassin came in and killed the king and his guards. They had shadow demons, didn't they, Shiokaze?
Important point of order: your arm, right? He's in your arm. One.
My arm, one arm, yeah.
Okay.
It's the stump is like on top of him. They took my arm.
They're just thudding his chest,
A little bit of blood. spurting
waving the nub.
Gods, why him? Why not me?
Okay, so that's what we got. Diaphanous doing. Shiokaze, what are you doing?
I think I'm going to pretend to like rummage around, finding something that I can heal with. Obviously, I won't have anything to heal with because I have nothing to heal with. But I'm gonna pretend, and I'm gonna like look over and just kind of like act like I'm trying to bring him back to life.
Okay, so
Boy.
you're gonna try and sell the fact that you're digging through your bag to find something that can help.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So the
Boy,
two of you are gonna roll
quickly.
me a group performance check to make this work.
Okay.
I see you've already rolled your performance check, so that's a 17. So Diaphanous,
Check.
you can either give me
Oh.
perception. What are you rolling
Oh,
there?
I'm sorry,
Perception.
performance. There we go.
Me.
Start. Actually, it's 1 point higher than that. So 25.
Okay.
Or
Cool.
2 points higher, 26.
Damn. You're really
Damn.
selling it.
Ow!
You are an actor.
Yippee!
My lord, I am sorry. Paige, quickly go get a cleric.
Somebody call a cleric, but not for me. So I think combined it's a 22 and a half, right? Somewhere in there. 20, yeah, something like that. So yeah, not a bad check. As this happens, this person walks up to the top of the steps, can see you guys huddled over him, and comes over and goes, "What happened? What is the meaning of this? We've been looking all over for you and him and the rest of his entourage. Oh, what is going on?" You could see that like there's this person who seemingly is trying to figure out kind of what happened here. Yeah.
What rank would this person be?
This is they're not like super high ranking official. They're like a page for the Lord himself. So like this is a person who would go and like get him the news or get him the information from the local townspeople and bring it to him and let him know like what's going on.
Diaphanous is going to look at him with like absolute disdain and hatred as I like set the Lord down gently and reach my full height and grab onto his breastplate and pull him towards me and just be like, "What is going on? Is you are wasting time. I have told you to go and retrieve a cleric. Now go and retrieve a cleric and fetch the gods." I like push him like a couple steps away from me.
You push him a couple steps. He falls down the staircase at the front of the dais. You see that as he gets to the bottom, he scrambles to his feet and begins to sprint off out of the courtroom.
I lean over to Ilokas and say, I was trained by the best.
Ilkas is just gonna do a small smile and like shake their head, just like, oh my god.
Now help me put him up in the chair, like more dignified. I think we can. Oh god, his arm fell off. I can use that later. I pick up the arm and I put it in my bag.
Can I do mending?
No, mending is tough. We're not inviting that madness to this game. You kind of begin to place people here. A few moments later, you can see that some of the guards begin to pour into this room. As they begin marching down, there's like 2 rows of them kind of making their way forward. There's about 20 of them that enter this space. And you can see that they come in with like pikes and shields, and a lot of them have stopped at the front of the dais and have like pointed their weapons in your direction. And they are not approaching you, but they are definitely watching. You can see that like as these guys have entered the space, they're pointing their weapons this way. They formed like a phalanx at the front here, and you can see that the captain has kind of walked to the front and began to walk up the steps towards you both. You see, as he comes up, he goes, "What is the meaning of this? A page just walked out of here asking for a cleric or something? What happened to him?"
The Lord is dead. We have failed him. I do not deserve to be a city guard anymore. An assassin, a legendary assassin approached and used dark shadow magic to produce a series of shadow demons, and he dispatched the Lord and all of his guards. We did our best. We did our best, Commander. They took my arm.
He looks perplexed at you. I mean, he doesn't look like he's not buying it. He just looks like it's a little out there for an answer. And he looks around and he goes, not so long. Are you guys still placing him in his chair?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm doing my best to give him a place of dignity.
You begin to place him into the chair. You can see the the captain of the guard looks at both of you and he goes, I'm sorry, you're under arrest. You're under arrest. Yep, that's what we're doing. You're under arrest.
I understand. We do not deserve to be.
You see as he looks back behind him, he goes, he gives them kind of like a frustrated look with his hands out to his side, like, what the hell are we doing? He looks at 2 of them up front, he goes, "You 2, cuff them." And then as they get up there, they begin trying to, if you guys will willingly let them handcuff you. The one guy will try to handcuff Diaphanous, but can't because he doesn't have the other appendage to handcuff. And just puts the other cuff on the same arm. And then Illikas, do you let them handcuff you?
I don't know. Should I pull out my badge? No, I'm just kidding.
Oh yeah, no wait. I have a city guard badge as well.
Oh.
You actually have a city guard badge.
Yeah.
Illikas doesn't have a badge. Illikas was making that shit up.
Commander, please take this from me. I don't deserve it anymore. I hand him my badge.
You see, he begins
We were-
writing down a badge number.
We were sent here by her ladyship to retrieve artifacts for her, and then the attack happened. I think she'll be most devastated to see that we have not returned with the items.
Yeah, you see, he goes, returned with the items. What items?
The items for steel.
that witch should never have done
How
this.
dare you, sir?
He
Her
looks at you and goes,
ladyship is the leader of the armies.
the Golden Company is none of my concern. Anyway, you see, he looks over and Shiokaze, do you allow them to cut you?
Yes.
You see that one of the gentlemen hesitantly puts handcuffs on you, and then kind of backs away slowly. He can tell that you're some sort of arcane individual, and judging by the fact that most of the people in this vicinity were killed by magic, he's thinking maybe you did it.
Oh. Ooh.
He's looking at you going, I'm gonna keep my distance. He put his handcuffs on you, and then he went, all right, I'm walking back that way. You see that the guard is kind of, the city captain is kind of talking to both of you. He begins reading rights to both of you in this chamber. A short moment later, you hear the clattered footsteps of that page that was skittering out of here about 10 minutes ago come running back in. And they come like kicking down the hallway. You hear what sounds like a couple of people following. And as they enter the chamber, the individuals that you see are... Give me 1 second. Uno momento, por favor. Yes. Sorry, I have to add him to our scene. You see that as he enters this space, he is followed by Amer, the elf with golden hair and golden plate. He comes running in behind him, hearing what happened, and you can see that they both jog up to the top of the steps, and you see the page goes, please, you have to help him. Your mistress promised me it could happen. You see Amer looks a little confused and begins to walk over to the location here, the throne in the room, and is kind of staring. You see that he begins using some sort of arcane ability to diagnose the situation, followed by a brief frown. He looks back and he goes, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this? The page goes, I don't know, fix him! That's what we were told, you're supposed to fix him! He goes, I can't fix this, he's dead! He's gone! Toasted! Do you see his skin?
Literally.
Peeling!
Diana starts to like
Extra.
cry even harder and like puts his head into like Shiokaze like to get a little bit of comfort.
Shiokaze just raises one of their hands and pats.
Yeah. Amer goes, he's been dead for like 10 minutes, maybe more. I don't know. I can't help that. The captain of the city guard is like, well, didn't your mistress promise that she would help? The page goes, yeah, that's what she told me. She told me she'd make everything fine. At that exact moment, shouting from behind the like group of these individuals standing in guard in the phalanx formation, you begin to hear screams as the sounds of javelins begin piercing people through armor. And at the far end of the courtroom, you begin to see Steel walking down the hallway. And about 10 steps, she calls fire, and then they throw spears at these people. And you see that
I grab Shiokaze and like pull them into like behind like a pillar.
You duck out of the way as these spears begin flying forward. You see the captain is hit through the throat. He falls over, slump, and begins to slide down. Begins to slide down the front of the spear towards the ground. You can see that the page miraculously does not get hit on the first like couple of volleys. You see that the phalanx begins to turn around. Chaos begins to descend in the room. People begin drawing weapons and trying to fight. You see that as people run forward, Amar walks up, pulls a knife out from his belt, and stabs the page in the back.
Oh.
And pushes them off the blade to have them tumble down the stairs. You see that Steel draws her sword, and about 12 men all die instantly. Cut in half, they vivisect, blood begins to splatter to the ground. And you see that she then wipes her sword on a cloth, sheathes it, and walks towards the throne.
Is anybody left standing?
They are all dead.
Well, fuck me.
Steel slowly walks in, and walks up the steps. You see that she sees both of you hiding behind the like horse statue thing here. Looks at you both. Are Elikas is manacled, and you are not really manacled, but sort of. She looks over and she goes, "Amar, free them." And then begins walking to the throne. You see she walks up, sees his charred husk. She removes one of his fingers, and then pushes him out of the chair. Amar walks over and removes the two manacles from both of you. You see that her men have walked into the room, like her kind of militia that she brought with her, and they begin piking men on the floor, making sure they're all dead.
Oh.
They
my
are
God.
making sure that everybody is dead.
Double tap.
Pretty much. And you see that she walks over, shoves him off, and goes, "Dreadful. Were you the ones responsible for this?"
Toothless.
For them dying?
Yes. Who killed the Lord?
Who did kill the Lord? I believe it was one of the shadow demons. I'm almost certain of that.
Pity.
Would you have liked us to kill them?
Yeah, it would have saved me the trip.
I did do
Anyway,
my best.
Well, that's all anyone could ever ask for. Oh, goodness, you're injured. How? Can I help you? Would you like my help?
What would it cost me?
Well, seeing as you have an item that I wish to have in your possession, or seemingly, we'll call it an even trade.
I have a feeling, and I reach into my cloak and I produce the bit of the blade. I wouldn't walk out of here without handing this to you anyways. And I kind of like levitate it towards her.
You see she takes it from you by grabbing it out of the air, and she places it into a satchel on her side. She looks at you. She goes, "Well, if that's not why you're her favorite, I don't know what you are." She walks over. She goes, "Let me see it."
Diaphanous, knowing the double talk there, kind of blushes for a second and then like produces his arm.
She goes, "Man, which one did this to you? Was it Slain or Shrine? Horrifying work." You see that she's just messing with the arm. She begins to cast some sort of effect over Diaphanous. And you see that within a moment, this like wrought iron of like bronze and gold begins to like form itself into arching kind of patterns, and then porcelain begins to lay itself inside that kind of arc shapes that it's making all the way down. You see that like mechanical bits begin to whir on the inside, and you see it begins to attach itself to his arm, painlessly but quickly. As she finishes casting this creation spell, you can see that this arm has been manifested out of nothing. She goes, prettier than the last one, I would say. Well, there we go. Even, as always.
Oh, heavier, to be sure.
But much more useful. She gives you kind of a pat on the head. She looks back out to the other people and she goes, well, they're all dead, so you can stop stabbing them now. Go ahead and march to the next keep and finish the others off, too. I'll join you here in a moment. They begin to march out. Amar looks over at her and goes, they wanted me to fix him. She goes, yeah, I know you could have, but I'm glad you didn't. It would have been very awkward for me to have to walk in here and stab him again. Because I know, but she goes, just go meet with Wayland and let him know that we're done with the first keep and we're moving on to the second. He goes, yes, all right, yes, ma'am. You see he walks down the stairs and gets to leave. Well, you guys were very useful as a distraction, as well as giving us barrier to entry. So thank you for that. I guess this is goodbye for now. I don't know. Are you guys leaving the town, or? I mean, I don't care.
Well, I do live to serve the council, as you well know. And I do believe we will be taking our leave. Thank you.
Where's Ava?
I honestly don't know at this exact moment, but I believe they've all decided to leave as well.
Clever.
Aren't I?
Sometimes annoyingly so. You see she steps down the stairs.
Shiokaze? And then I start to walk out.
Shiokaze just kind of like follows quickly behind, just kind of like la la la, just trying to get out.
As you are walking behind, you guys try to follow Steel directly. You guys are walking through what is basically a puddle of blood. It's just like wet sounding footsteps, as if you were on like a rainy puddle street, as you guys are stepping out of this place.
I mean, we're not.
People, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we're not trying to follow Steel. We're just trying to leave.
Yeah. She's going the way to get out of here. So.
I guess we'll give her like a solid 10 minutes and then we'll take off.
Okay. Cool. You guys kind of just gaff about. Eventually, invisibility wears off for our other party members as she's gone.
Okay, thank God.
And you guys are all left alone in the giant room here to do as you wish. But everybody just watched what happened.
Mr. DM, can I ask you a private question?
Yeah, you may. You can send me a private question.
Mayonnaise is not an instrument, Knox.
Can you take me to a private VC really quick?
Sure.
Oh, that private.
Mm.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Feel free to role play while Lorik and I go and talk for a minute. See ya.
Alright. I want to fly down to you, Dia, and go, what the fuck? What the fuck?
Remember when I said, we don't want you meeting any of them until you're ready?
Yeah.
That's what the fuck I was talking about.
What?
Every single one of them is just as terrifying as that. A couple of them more so.
Like the two she mentioned to you.
Those are minor. Those are fucking jokes.
Who the fuck? What? Do you know why she did this?
Why does Teal do anything? Because she can. She's a fucking psychopath.
These people did
So
nothing.
she said they were headed to the other keep. Is she just gonna murder both the lords and then take the city for herself?
Yeah, that's what she does.
Well, guess we're leaving.
Yeah, so there's Steel, which is an embodiment of like the wrath of war. There is Temple or Altar, I forget exactly what her name is. She's like the embodiment of like prayer and like religious godliness and all that kind of shit. There is Sinew, who is like a flesh weaver. There's my mistress, which is like the wild hunt. There is Storm and Shoal. She's like, you know, storms and like waves and like the sea. Yeah, there's quite a few of them. Each is more terrified than the last.
The fuck?
Well, hopefully we don't encounter the others anytime soon.
Yes. I'd rather not die before I get indicted.
One second, I can actually pull up a full list.
We're just.
I'm not in the mood to face another demigod for a while. So
Yes. I agree. So where do we go now?
Ava, do you want me to share the list with everybody or just share it with you?
It's up to you.
No, it's up to you actually.
Oh,
Because
is it?
well, yeah, because like I'll give everybody the list, or I like you can be like, no, just I just want to know.
Give me the list.
Just give you the list.
Give me
okay.
the list. I make sure I've been fucking spelling these names right.
Yeah.
No, I have
One
not.
of them is just a fucking tree. There's two that are dragons,
Ding dong.
What
Ding
the
dong.
and one of them's a little girl.
Yeah.
But the little girl's probably the most terrifying.
Sounds terrifying.
Oh, good. We're talking about the witches.
Yeah, we
One of them just sits on her little plinth, and she never says anything.
need to go now before Steel realizes I am still here and we are still here.
Oh, she probably knows you're still here. That's one of her little fucking mind games.
Fuck.
But she can't do anything unless like you're introduced, which was part of the reason that I was trying to keep you from, you know, meeting her. Oh, Ava, before we leave, we need to pick up your stole.
You're worried? Okay. You're worried about that? Okay. Sure. Let's get the fucking piece of clothing before we leave town.
That was a joke. We're not sticking around for that. I was trying to lighten the mood. All right, everybody, let's go.
So yeah, what was discussed while I was gone? Just out of curiosity. Quick overview.
Ooh.
I mean, I just kind of explained that Steel was like a psychopath and was probably going to kill everybody.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And then I gave like a little bit of an overview of like that they're like some of the witches.
Gotcha. Cool. Anybody else had anything that they did while we were gone?
no, that was pretty much it. I kind of butted in on their conversation, but other than that, it's just kind of like, yeah, Steele's a psychopath though. Let's get the hell out of here.
Okay, hold on. Let's use the proper terminology. She's a sociopath, okay? She likes to think through everything.
How
Sociopath.
about lunatic?
That works too. Yeah. You begin to head out. Do you guys just go out through the castle door and like leave? I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Okay. As you guys begin to make your way out, you notice a couple of things about the town. Steel has declared martial law, so she has issued a statement basically saying that everybody should be remaining in their homes. She has, as you all remember, all of the city guard had been ordered to report to her, and she was issuing them to certain parts of the city. I think what we just witnessed makes it painfully obvious that she was taking them all to parts of the city where she could kill them, and they won't be able to get any of them. So, essentially, she was dividing her enemy and then conquering them by doing so. So her army has completely maintained control. And you see that she has basically gathered a small portion of her troops to go conquer the other kingdom. She's literally just walking down the road, across like the large bridge across the river.
So, Matt, which city gate is closest to this keep, But farthest away from another keep.
The southern city gate. Yeah.
Okay, that's the one we're headed towards.
Cool. Cool. You guys begin to walk through the city. You guys can hear the sounds of people like basically closing their doors, or the sounds of like troops marching through the city and beginning to like knock on certain doors and raid people's homes. There is more to this plot than just declare martial law and kill both of the leadership in this location. There's something else as well. Unsure what that is, but occasionally you'll see people being like led out of houses and somewhere into the city. Yeah, you guys begin to head away. The other thing you will note is that the stranger will follow you as long as you permit to the edge of town. So if you guys don't dismiss him and tell him to go the hell away, he will walk with you all the way.
Do we want him?
Diaphanous, I guess we'll talk to him.
Okay.
So what is your mistress's mission for you here, stranger?
It's a very good question.
I know, that's why I asked it.
I would say that we owe a favor to steal that we have fully repaid. And that is our business in the city, regardless of my mistress's wishes.
A favor? For what? If I may ask, of course.
She helped with some business a while back. Go ahead and give me an insight check if you'd like. I'm assuming you're investigating.
Yeah, I'm investigating his ass. Did you say insight or investigation?
Whichever one you're better at.
Okay, I'll go insight.
Oh.
He straight up just lied to you.
What is your name, by the way? Stranger is such a droll term.
Unfortunately, my name is only to be used with members of our circle, my mistress, and the one we serve. You can simply call me the stranger.
You know, lying to one of us is never a bright idea.
I'll keep that in mind, counselor, but I'm not concerned of your powers.
It's not my powers you have to worry about. Well, how about you just go ahead and run along there, sweetheart? I would hate for your mistress to be waiting for you for too long.
Okay. With your 24 as well, when you mention I'd hate for your mistress to be waiting for you for too long, even through the mask, you can feel him, like, it's a hateful glare at the words you've just said. For reasons you don't know. You've struck a nerve with the sentence you just said. Spoken to.
I like sniff deeply, and I'm just like, it's almost like she doesn't know you're here.
Well, you've sent me away, so I shall bid you farewell. So long, strange travelers, witch of the seasons, Diaphanous, and your eminence. You see he bows towards Lorik, and then turns and walks away.
I do love it when they run.
You mean he bows to the air because I'm fucking invisible.
I do not exist.
I'm slowly stalking the party. I myself just yet.
You see that regardless of, he bows into a direction he would assume you'd be standing. He's unsure of where you are, but he does make it a show to speak about you separately from the rest of the group. He said, strange travelers to encompass everyone who wasn't Ava, Diaphanous, or you. And then gave each one of them a separate greeting / parting, and then left.
I give peace sign.
Still not used to that title.
Well, let's continue then.
I will
Please.
also go ahead and give this one other piece of information. If you hadn't had said it so plainly, I may have just left it open to interpretation, Diaphanous.
Mhm.
Because you said the words, she doesn't know he's here. He's here. He's way out on a limb here right now.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was thinking. All right. Well, I guess unless anyone else has anything to do, I guess we just continue.
Let's go. I want to leave.
I just want to. I have an idea. Let's leave. So yeah, you guys begin to head out of town. As I mentioned before, it's still a little rainy here today. You guys see the phoenix Wayland had on his shoulder, flying in circles overhead of the city. Just slowly flying over the city. And it's quite silent in the city streets, like eerily so. Besides when the stranger like leaves and gives you all a parting gift and says, goodbye or whatever, well and truly that is kind of the last kind of vocality of things you hear. Him stepping off into the city somewhere, the pitter patter of his footsteps on the mud soaked ground with puddles and whatnot. As he disappears, that's it. And you guys begin to head towards the giant parts of the door. Anybody have anything they want to reflect on as we walk towards the edge of the city? Anything that we have questions about that we might want to try and put together as we leave?
I'll message her to you.
Thork is waiting on the other side of the gate, ready to exit, and is simply looking over the trophy of his in his hand, wondering what it all means.
Okay. Do the people see this trophy as they round the corner? That's a Lorik question. Lorik, are you going to attempt to just put it away when they come around?
I know where they are. I am well aware of when they will arrive to this gate. By the way, well in advance of them possibly seeing.
Okay. Cool. You examine your trophy. Diaphanous, you had something?
Oh no, I was gonna ask if that was a lore question.
Oh, no. Anybody else? Reflex. Okay.
I mean, as far as reflecting, Diaphanous is just kind of thinking to himself, it's not your fault. There's nothing else you could have done.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello. Welcome. Thank you so much. Yeah, a bunch of people on the side. Thank you so much. Oh, I can't read from my little screen. Celine Nicholas. Thank you so much.
So,
Stinky, right? Stinky.
Diaphanous, you can also hear
I
the
have
faint humming
invaded.
from your arm as
Oh,
like the
thank
mechanical gears and
you.
stuff
Oh my gosh, I'm
whir
so sorry.
inside.
We are playing D&D right now. I'm
You
trying to
have full feeling
fill
that
out,
using
but
this
also I do
so,
really appreciate the raid so very
you
much.
can turn off
Thank you,
sensory stuff,
thank
so like,
you.
if you don't want to feel temperature.
Oh god damn it!
too.
I forgot. Yee!
but,
I know how to
you
shout
still
out.
have
I
as much feeling
promise.
as-
Thank you so much.
feels just
Thank
like a regular
you. Why you? Ah.
and then
Hello everyone.
Okay.
Again, we're playing D&D.
yeah,
We
Ava,
are here.
Sticks out strange to you that is a thing that
hold
was
on.
mentioned within the within that whole fight that you guys just had. You guys are still fucking destroyed after
It's good to see you. Thank you. I hope
guys are
you've
missing
been
hit die.
well.
Spell slots are missing. Like you guys are exhausted.
We're doing good.
As you guys
I'm
are
doing
leaving,
good.
covered in blood. Some of it not your own.
Sorry, my alerts are not
Carissa, what do you think about
on.
these?
What the heck? Why are my alerts not working? The
I think
fuck?
she's just
I guess
she's thinking about the kindness that Diaphanous showed her
I can,
when we were still in the abyss, when she started to like get
well,
stuck in that memory.
Thank you so
I think
much.
she's just kind of mulling over that.
Let me just turn down my people for a second. Thank you. There it is.
Just
There's
kind
the
of-
sound. Thank you so much for following. Thank you.
She's just kind of thinking of it. She doesn't
I
really know
appreciate
how
you
she
guys
feels
so
or what to
much.
feel about it, but she knows.
I hope y'all are doing well. Hope y'all having a good day or night, wherever y'all are in the world. Thank you again so much for that raid. Thank you, Yumi,
her own emotion or
for-
something else.
for introducing people to the stream. Thank you so much. Thank you.
All that you look can kind of.
I hope you've been doing well. I've been doing really good.
very
Thank you.
tired.
I'm so glad.
Want to crawl in bed.
Thank you.
and, like,
I'm
wrap
trying.
themselves
I'm
up
trying
in
my
a
best
blanket
just to
have a nice
start
long
going
rest.
live. Thank you. Thank
No
you.
Is
And
the
thank
Shiokaze
you.
afraid?
My name is Soma for everyone who hasn't been here before. I'm a variety streamer of many sorts, mainly with art, D&D, as you can see. And we usually play Magic or other sorts of board games online on Saturdays.
Not much. Like,
I'm gonna turn them up a little
truly
bit so I can
scares
hear
them.
this in the background. But yeah,
they've
thank y'all so much for
they've
being here.
experienced a lot of things.
I don't have a set
So
schedule as
they've
of yet,
had-
but mainly we do stream every Thursday
how
and
do you say?
Saturday if we can help it. But I've been doing great. We moved into a new home.
a lot of information that they can
Slowly
reference
just
back to.
unpacking things and putting things aside. Slowly
Yes.
started getting my office
So
streaming
no, they're not afraid.
things up to par
They're just
again.
like,
But
seen
yeah.
this before.
But hope y'all enjoy and hope y'all enjoy our session. I believe we
you guys
are
all make your way to the south gate.
probably going to be closing the session off here soon.
I
But
think it dawns on anybody who has had familiarity with military combat. as a
thank
character,
you. Thank you so much. Yes,
the
it's
nature of
it's
Steel's
been-
plan.
it's been a journey
Steel
thus
did their
far.
bidding because it's easier to take a city when they open the gates for you. And it seems like this has been her true plan the whole time, is to take the city
Hope y'all
over.
can hear them okay.
For what reason, you have no idea.
I've been trying to listen in,
but
but also do that. It's really
you
hard.
understand that the nature of her
Thank
doing a favor
you.
for them cost them their city.
I really do appreciate y'all for
And-
coming in.
She will rule like a tyrant instead
Go away,
of
ads.
these lords who once lived here. As you guys leave, you guys approach the gates that have been just left open, and Lorik stands on the other side, waiting for you guys at the beginning of the bridge that crosses the small part of this delta that leads out of the city.
Time to go. Time to never look back.
You all begin to head off into the woods. How long would you guys like to travel?
I mean, I kind of feel like everyone would kind of just keep walking until like people start collapsing.
Yeah, you can certainly do that.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So what we'll do is we'll roll con checks. Everybody's just gonna give me one flat con check. Carissa's bonus cannot help you on this.
Oh, damn it. It also conked. A little bit better.
Yeah, I feel like Ilocasa's 3 is probably accurate.
Probably.
For real, though.
Yes.
Okay.
Damn.
So, Ilocos, how long do we walk before we have to stop because you give out? And what does it look like as you give out?
As we are going into the woods and everything, as time is going on, Eolocos is just getting slower and slower, just uh off balance, maybe leaning on the trees for like support. Um and then they just kind of like huff and then just flop on the ground.
Um, Diaphanous turns around and walks over to Ilocas and like tries to help him stand. Um, like, are you conked out or are you just like exhausted?
Probably just exhausted.
Diaphanous is like trying to pull you to your feet, and you can see that there's like tears in Diaphanous's eyes, and he's like, "Come on, Ilocas, we can make it a little bit further."
Lork will step up and try to help as well. Any distance we can put is better.
You guys probably get another hour out of this endeavor before it becomes too far for you guys to move any further. How do you want to? How do you guys set up your rest for the evening?
Are the trees? How are the trees looking? Are they sturdy? Are they, old enough to support our weight?
Yeah, yeah. This is not an ancient forest, but it's quite old. Obviously, as you guys get further away from the city, there's more dense foliage and larger trees because loggers haven't gotten out this far yet, or whatever. But yeah, there's plenty of suitable trees that you could string hammocks from, or climb, or whatever you want to do.
All right. And if everyone allows, Lork sends Seraph up to a sort of flat-based tree that would be large enough for us to take camp in its branches here. And I sort of look across the group and just say, "Who's first?"
I can be first.
Okay.
Do you know what to do?
To keep watch?
No.
Oh, you mean to go to the cat? Yeah, I can figure that out. I activate the ring.
You attempt to activate this power. What is the feeling that you think of when you want to swap places with Sarah?
I think it feels like stepping into like a pool for the first time, like that cold like jolt of the water as I like enter its shadow.
Suddenly, as it starts, it ends, and you are at the top of the tree. Seraph appears down next to everybody below.
I send Seraph scurrying back up the tree once more, looking back towards the group.
Elocos will kind of just they're like sitting on a log, and they kind of flit their fingers to activate the ring and just poof.
What is the feeling that you think of to move to where Seraph is located?
The feeling of wanting to curl up in a ball and eep. So they're like, alright, rest is over there, I'm going over there.
It almost feels like that feeling when you fall asleep in a chair or something, and then
Mhm.
your head falls towards the table, but you wake up before your head hits anything. That's
Mhm.
the feeling that you have as you are sitting in the tree before you realize it. Seraph slowly arrives back up to the top where you both are sitting and stands patiently waiting for the next person to go. Who's next?
I'll go.
What is the feeling you think of when you move to the top of the tree?
I think I try to recall the feeling I had whenever a combination of one of the first times that Seraph and I have traded places, but also whenever I became Seraph back in the other city. I kind of think of it as just like almost my mind is like stepping into the shadow and then stepping out of it. So my body doesn't move, but I feel like my mind kind of jumps into the shadow and jumps out.
Much like you folded yourself onto walls when you previously inhabited the body of this creature, you fold yourself into the shadow and then reappear at the top of the tree. Seraph quickly climbs once again, waiting the next victim.
Victim! Wait a minute.
Ayoka just looks at the ring that Lord had gave to everybody and looks at him and looks at everybody else and says, "This is gonna be the first time. How does it feel?"
Unpleasant.
Might as well get it
Maybe
over
next
with. Do you?
I do.
Or time
Ava,
for
what
everything.
unpleasant feeling do you think of as you teleport to the top of the tree?
The feeling of an ice cold water seems to rush over her. She hates the feeling of cold. She hates how it makes her skin tighten up and her feathers feel like they're about to fall off.
As you feel that feeling rush over you, you appear at the top of the tree with a shiver.
He was right. I hate that so much.
Shortly, a second later, Lark arrives. Barely even making a sound.
I, as Ava trying to changes places with Seraph, Seraph like gets ready to run back up the tree, and I sort of just scoop Seraph up and climb my own way up the tree.
Oh.
Seraph climbs into your hood and sits like a cat in a little bag. Waiting. Longer than you guys expected, but still relatively quick. Lorik arrives at the top of the tree. You see that he climbs over the top and arrives into this place that he sent rested.
Diaphanous puts out like a small bowl with like and fills it with sand, and then starts to produce like sticks of incense. And he slowly lights all of them and appears to be doing some form of meditation, maybe a prayer for those that have passed and for the city.
The incense begins to burn, and a wisp of smoke begins to flow around and create almost like a circle around your group, as well within the tree. You guys are here. This incense was given to you by someone who loved you very dearly. And when it is burned, you receive the effects of the hallowed spell in this location. So the top of this tree is effectively hallowed for the next part of the evening.
Carissa, where are you bedding down this tree?
I feel like I'd probably find like just the sturdiest couple branches and just kind of fashion like a hammock between the two.
Gotcha. Lorik will come and sort of sit near your head on the larger branch here, and just sort of listen to the birds chirp and the buzz of the bugs in the night, and just look towards you and ask, do you remember how this all started?
Seems like that was lifetimes ago.
A small prison cell. Strangers chained together. Friends lost. And remember the first time we entered the tower.
It's hard to forget.
He stays silent for a moment. Our lives have certainly changed. Well, of course. But I think you might have something in that bag of yours that I'd like to take a look at. Mine. The tower. Long, long time ago.
She's kind of quiet for a minute because you mentioned the tower and she just kind of remembers everything that happened, and she nods and she just kind of passes you like her bag to kind of dig through.
Lorik, in his own way, attempting to show trust, positions himself in such a way that you can see everything he looks through. And I would like to look for the other piece.
You begin looking through the bag. And a short time later, it's not very hard to find this piece. Carissa, you remember part of your journey months ago, maybe not months ago, a couple weeks ago. You were at a bank. There was a vault, and in that vault there was a great deal of treasure. A lot of it left to perish and descend into that fiery madness below. The city wrought with destruction. But this dumb thing that you and your teammates picked up because something about it seemed like it needed to be there. The hilt of a sword. Lorik pulls it from the bag, begins to look it over.
Just sort of hold it back towards you, Carissa. Do you know what this is?
I had almost completely forgotten about it.
Because I have no idea. But if she's looking for it, then we absolutely can't let her have it.
I agree. Do you think this is what she was looking for?
Can I trust you, Carissa?
She just kind of like gives him like a leveling look of like, really? You're asking me that?
I sort of chuckle back towards you. I know. I just need you to say it.
Yes, you can trust me.
I put the hilt back into your bag, and in a folded piece of cloth, I hand you something else. Then, hold on to this for me, will you?
Of course. She'll take it in her hand and she kind of contemplates looking to see what it is, but just kind of decides to like trust Lorik, show that she trusts him, and just kind of like slips it in her bag as well.
The sensory of this thing, even if you can't see it, the object feels solid, but is light compared to how dense it would feel. Its hardness doesn't match what you would think its weight should be. There's an aspect of it that's also kind of sharp. Even feeling it through the cloth, you understand that whatever this thing is, it's got some sort of edge to it as you place it into your bag.
Good night, Carissa.
Good night, Lorik.
Going to crawl higher up in the tree until I can see the stars.
You climb into the tree, you ascend, and as you get to the peak, just over the canopy, there they are. Night sky. Each one of them is brilliant and bright as they've always been. You've been around a long time. Sometimes they come and go, but most of them have always been there. Strangely comforting. Something that lives longer than even your people do. Stars. Windows to the past. Echoes of the future. You find a place to stare up at the stars and meditate, contemplate life, and think about all the things that change while these stare down at this world, unchanging. What does everyone else do while they go to bed?
Shiokaze is going to kind of find a spot where they can kind of like sit in, almost like a beanbag where you kind of just slump into a divot. They're gonna pull their cloak around them some more and just kind of like make themselves as small as possible, and read a little bit from one of the books that they stole. Going like, oh yes, yes. And then as they're reading, they'll probably fall asleep with the book in their hand.
Okay. You use light on your fingertips to illuminate pages as you sit here to read. Flipping. Flipping. Slowly but surely, the pages stop turning. And eventually you fall asleep. You dream about the things you read and commit them to memory. Ava, what do you do to go to sleep?
I. Ooh. I just wanted to see where Diaphanous has perched up at and sit next to him. See what he's seeing before she goes and asks him. Do you have any faith in me to be who I need to be?
Diaphanous is like on the verge of like falling asleep as he's like doing his mantras and goes, say that again, what? Faith in you? I have seen many witches come and go. I've named many of them. Dare I say, I've been around longer than many of the ones that are on the council to this very day. It's not about having faith in the person.
Then what is it?
Excuse me. Sorry, that was a real sneeze.
Bless you.
Bless you.
It's not about whether I have faith in you. It's whether you have faith in yourself. You've had a bad start, that's for sure. But if you don't believe you can come back from it, why even start walking on the path in the first place?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Diaphanous. I think
No, I'm very rarely wrong.
Some would say he fucking loves being right.
I was just about to say that shit.
Then how can I get faith in myself? I don't even believe I'm right for this role. Should not have been me.
Well, if you don't have any faith in yourself, maybe that's the first place to start. Can you make the journey? You've already started. Why not finish and see where you end up?
Let's hope I don't die then.
Oh, you won't die tonight. It's tomorrow you have to worry about.
Don't say that. That doesn't make me feel better, Diaphanous. But
I'm not here to make you feel good.
no, I understand. Maybe it's time I actually see you as who you are meant to be. My mentor. And a friend, hopefully.
I reach out with my metal hand and give you a little pat on the head. I think you'll make a fine witch.
Even with my bad upbringings? For what I am now?
You didn't have a bad upbringing. You've just had a bad start. I think you need to listen to what you grew up as a little bit more.
Thank you.
I think your mother had plenty of faith in you.
I sure hope so, Diaphanous. I do hope you're right on that. Wherever she is. But thank you. And thank you for not dying. Completely.
One day. Well, that's a conversation for another day. Diaphanous almost looks wistful.
Good night, Diaphanous. Sorry to keep you up. And she will go up and find a spot to lean on with her familiar as she brings him out of her cloak.
As you produce your familiar, you see he looks around, tries to find shrubbery to eat, and dashes over to a section of the treetop. There's a nice bunch of leaves, and you see kind of glides into them and disappears for a moment before sticking his head back out and turning it sideways, looking back at you, nodding, chewing on a leaf. He lets out a little trill. He's excited. He's happy to be here. As you walk away,
No, I'm blowing my nose. Sorry.
oh, gotcha. As you walk away, because you're a little feisty, I will say you see something from Diaphanous' bag. Diaphanous had to open his bag to get the incense out. There is almost like a light show going on inside his bag.
Ooh.
It's like flickering of like white light, just repetitively, over and over and over again, in a random disarray of patterns.
Adding that.
Do you want to try and take a look? I'm assuming that Diaphanous left his bag off to the side and is kind of looking wistfully off into the distance.
Oh,
so
yes. Yeah, I
you
am.
probably wouldn't notice if you took a peek.
I'm gonna try to take a peek.
I mean, I'm assuming he's like kneeling, like facing towards the tree where he's left his little like incense burner.
Yeah. As you jet off into the side, you take a peek into his bag, and what you see is amazing. There's a glass bottle perched on its side, and in it, a thunderstorm. The light effect that you're seeing is lightning striking the bottom of the glass over and over and over again. And at the bottom, there's this small metallic rock that looks to have been placed there purposefully. There's clouds and a little bit of rain, but no sound as this light emanates over and over and over again. And attached to it's a note on like what looks to be like a gift note, something you put on like a little key tag. From this angle, it reads, "May you bring the rain with you, no matter how far you wander afield. My love for you is not boundless, but it is, like the weather, eternal. And though it may come in seasons, know that as you take this with you, you also bring me with you as well." The note is not signed. There's no signature. And I think in that deduces something about the person who wrote it. They know that you don't have to sign this because the person who received it knows exactly who sent it.
Oh. That's so sweet. I'm gonna cry.
You quickly read it, understand that you've lingered a little too long, and you look back over, and your familiar is giving you the squinty eyes, as if he's looking for a place to nest. and is a little mad that you haven't come over there yet.
He quickly scurry along up to where Ezekiel is nesting. And as I get comfortable, I kind of whisper to him, saying, do you think... Not do I think. I need to have confidence. I hope I find love one day like that. And I'll pet Ezekiel. What's that?
You see, that's his little chirp, his little trill.
I'm sorry. It threw
Hey,
me
I
off.
have to play all the animals. You're gonna have to put up with some bad noises, okay?
I'm sorry.
I'll work on it. I'll work on it.
I'm sorry.
It was cute.
It threw me off because I was looking down. I thought it was my head. I thought I heard something else.
Yeah, you begin to pet him. He looks back at you. He lets out a small trill. As you begin to find your place, you see he finds a section of your feathers that he absolutely adores and just nestles his way in there. It's not very comfortable for you all the time. And when he wakes up and stirs in the night, he definitely pushes on you and shoves them in other directions. But you've grown used to it. It's almost very relaxing to have somebody who depends on you like that. And you begin to think about how many other people probably depend on you and don't know it. Now, and probably in the future more than that, as you develop your powers and the responsibility of the station. And as you begin to breathe out and close your eyes, you can see that in front of you, some frost begins to form on this section of the branch. And the tree reacts almost instinctively as a bed of leaves fall on top of you, creating almost like a blanket. They look like they've fallen due to the changing of a season. They're brown colored. You think to yourself, perhaps practice is in order. He depends on you, others do too. Your thought is interrupted by Ezekiel ripping out of your feathers and grabbing a dead leaf and poking himself back in to your feathers.
Thanks, buddy.
It's about 30 minutes of this before he falls asleep. But that's kind of your little moment there. And then Carissa, we join you as you go to sleep.
I think as Carissa settles in, I think she just kind of is finally able to relax today. And one of the first things she does is she says a prayer to Mistra, a thankful prayer for her guidance and safety of not only her, but everyone that she was with today. And she just also prays for a blessing of protection and peace for tonight and at least tomorrow, if not longer, for the travel days for the group, because there's been so much going on. She just kind of prays for some peace for the group.
Make a
And then
prayer.
I think with that she kind of drifts off to sleep.
You make a prayer and you hold this holy symbol in your hand. Just wishing for stuff to slow down a little bit is what it feels like. Praying that everyone gets where they're going safely. And there is an element of this that makes you believe that even if you don't know if your prayer is being heard, you know that there's absolutely no way someone would have blessed you with all of this power and this ability, and then made you unable to save those close to you. And you drift off to sleep. Diaphanous, staring at the incense, do you have any final thoughts before you begin to drift off to sleep yourself?
I don't think so. I mean, I think the main thing he's thinking about is how to get Ava there safely. I think he thinks about all the threats that he has to worry about. And yeah, I think those are the things he's thinking about.
As you're thinking about this, you feel something slithering up your arm. A small snake. You see it begins to move up your arm, around to your neck, down the front of your chest. And as it gets off to your side of your body, in this tree, it curls, looks at you, gives a small nod, and waits.
I know. But what else am I supposed to do?
If a snake could shrug, man.
I give him like a little boop that I'm like, tell her she's not what we expected. She could be more, but I think she's enough. She has to be, right? Because if
The
she's
snake
not,
nods at you. Yeah, the snake nods at you like, she better be. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm gonna. Because if she's not, we're all doomed, and Steel gets what she wants.
the
Go on.
snake shivers at the thought of Steel getting what it wants.
Yes, I'm right there with you, buddy. Go on, go. And I let him take flight.
You see that he leaps from the tree and begins to sail to the next branch. He slowly disappears into the night. And you begin to fall asleep. You all gain a long rest and wake up the next morning. In the woods, you all wake up well rested. And you feel as though you haven't slept this well in a while. Just for a quick point of order, does anybody have to like go right now? I know we're at 10:40. If we're getting to the point where people are done in the evening, we can end here and pick up the session.
I'm
Start.
pretty EP.
Yeah. It's
Okay, cool.
unfortunately.
So that's where we'll end. Well done, guys. Good job. Steel didn't kill anybody. Good stuff.
Yay.
And I will have some stuff that I probably need to send to some people in between, for stuff that happens over the course of the night. But that's what I got. So thanks everybody online for joining. You know, Raiders, welcome. Subscribe. You know, do what you got to. Come back and join us next week. Have a good time. Next week, I think the plan is to go and to Lorik's homeland, right? That's where we're going.
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Lorik, but we
I
think
think
you.
so.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord disappears in the middle of the night.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
What?
Well, join us next time to see if they can find Lorik.
Where's Lorik? He's hiding in the trees.
Every other game we play is where's Lorik.
True.
Yeah, for real though.
At the end of this, we can just illustrate a bunch of books. It's called "Where's Lorik?"
Yes, absolutely.
It's like where's Waldo, but he's actually invisible in all the pages.
He's actually
Exactly.
not printed on any of the pages.
Yeah.
Where's Lorik turns into where is Seraph standing, or where is the cat shadow figure on the page?
Find Seraph, and then Lorik is somewhere within 3 inches.
Say goodnight, chat.
Good night, chat.
Good night.
Thanks for coming.
Bye, y'all. It was so much fun. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.
Did my soothing music actually put people to EP?